What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Z Sports and Entertainment. I am Z, coming to you from the basement. Today is a very big day for me. Nothing's happening to me. Nothing's happening for me. The draft just comes on, and I'm fucking excited. Um, why am I here, Zach? What you doing here today? Well, today I have a mock. And I know it's an hour, 2 hours before the round one starts, but why not? Why not? So without further ado, the Z Sports and Entertainment mock NFL draft. All right, with the first pick, Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama. He seems to be the future face of their franchise. He stopped taking all visits, so everything's pointing towards Carolina. Number 2 overall pick, Houston Texans select Will Anderson Jr., Alabama. I don't know if it's been done in the history of the NFL for a school to have the number 1 and 2 overall pick, but if things go this way, Alabama, congratulations. Looks like DeMeco Ryans is going to go defense, and then whether it be via trade later in the draft, he'll figure the quarterback situation out later. Arizona Cardinals, we got edge, Tyree Wilson, Texas Tech. Kind of like the Travon Walker of last year. Not really a lot on film, not really a lot stat-wise, but his physique, his potential is through the roof. His measurements, his everything is saying that he's going to be a premier pass rusher in this league for a long time. I got Cardinals taking Tyree Wilson, Texas Tech. Indianapolis Colts get their quarterback, C.J. Stroud, Ohio State. Not really too much to say about that, but congratulations, Colts. Am I tripping? Oh, that's a shadow. Oh, it's a shadow. Number 5, Seattle Seahawks select edge rusher Myles Murphy from Clemson. He's going to help their defense. They re-signed Geno. I know they was talking about getting a quarterback, but I feel like Myles Murphy is the way to go right here. At 6, the Detroit Lions select Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, Georgia. Jalen Carter is potentially the best player in this draft. And for the Lions to get him at 6 to pair him with Aiden Hutchinson, that defense could be scary. That defense could be very scary this year. 7, Raiders, cornerback, Devon Witherspoon, Illinois. Kind of like Tyree Wilson, measurements, numbers off the charts, all of his testing numbers, things of that nature. Everything is saying that this kid can be a lockdown corner if he puts NFL skill with what he can do from an athletic standpoint. This team, he's gonna fit in great with the with the Las Vegas Raiders. The number 8 pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Peter Skoronski, offensive lineman, Northwestern. Falcons could have went a lot of different ways. They could have went quarterback, they could have went receiver, they could have went edge, they could have went cornerback. But I feel with what they've done this offseason, in order to help this team and Desmond Ridder best right now, I feel like you have to get the best available lineman. We have had one outlier on our offensive line for long enough, and that has been left guard. Like I said in the Falcons video, I feel like Drew Dahlman is going to step in that center position and run away with it. We need a left guard. And the thing about Skoronski is he can be your left guard for now and your future starting left tackle once Jake Matthews is gone. We have to get someone who can. We need linemen. At 9, the Chicago Bears select edge Nolan Smith, Georgia. I like this. With them getting Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards, they just need to shore up their pass rush. Yes, they do have other areas that they still need to, focus on, but Nolan Smith, in my opinion, right here with this pick is the pick. The Philadelphia Eagles, number 10, running back Bijan Robinson. Get rid of Miles Sanders. I think you still have Gainwell. You still have Boston Scott. You bring in Trey Sermon. You bring in Rashad Penny. But you put this guy with Jalen Hurts, that O-line, like, he could possibly be the best player in the draft. And the only reason he's not in the top 2 or 5 is because the value of running backs these days. I got Bijan Robinson going 10. All right. 11, Tennessee Titans. Quarterback, Will Levis, Kentucky. It's been talks that Kentucky was going to move up in the draft, maybe to 3, to possibly draft a guy. I don't think they would have to. I think if they just stay where they are and let things play out the way that they're going to play out, I think that their guy could fall to them. Houston Texans with their second pick of the first round, number 12 overall, quarterback Anthony Richardson, Florida. If this pans out the way that it's panned out in my particular mock, for them to be able to bring in Will Anderson, who can come in day one and be a complete game changer on defense, and then also have Anthony Richardson, who you could come in and still allow Davis Mills, if you want to go that route, to start and have him sit and wait. This is dream scenario for Houston. With the 13th pick, the Green Bay Packers select wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba, Ohio State. This is kind of ironic because the Packers haven't selected a receiver or a pass catcher in the first round since Javon Walker. And the first draft without Aaron Rodgers, they take a receiver to help Jordan Love. So, kind of ironic if you ask me. 14, Patriots, defensive lineman, Brian Brees, Clemson. I think this kid, coming out of high school, he was one of the best players, no doubt. Going into college, still one of the best players. But he kind of got lost at Clemson a little bit. Was able to maintain his draft stock, but kind of got lost a little bit. I think the NFL game suits him better. I think he is going to be one of those Bill Belichick defensive line. To be honest with you, I could see him somewhat being almost like a Richard Seymour. Maybe not that good because Richard Seymour is a dog, but I see a bright future with him in the Patriots uniform. Jets, number 15, offensive tackle, Paris Johnson Jr., Ohio State. I think this is the best pick because you're good in the backfield. You got Breece Hall. You got Michael Carter. Receiver, you're good at receiver. You got 2 solid tight ends. I feel like you need to get another tackle in there because Mekhi Becton has proven that he's not durable. So Mekhi Becton playing 10 of the games this season is a positive. You got the guy from UCLA, Vera Tucker, guard. You got him in there. You re-signed Dwayne Brown. But you need somebody to solidify something because whether it be Mekhi Becton not being able to stay healthy, whether it be Dwayne Brown just getting up there in age and not re-sign, whatever, you need somebody to solidify that tackle spot. So if you got to move Mekhi to right tackle and have Paris Johnson at left or however you want to do it, I feel like Paris Johnson is the best pick for this team right now. Commanders, 16, cornerback, Christian Gonzalez, Oregon. And I didn't want to reach on a quarterback as far as Hendon Hooker. And it just seemed like every other need that they had was kind of I feel like this was one of those possibly like best player availables. And getting Christian Gonzalez at 16, I feel like is very good value. Pairing him with Fuller, Baptiste, I think he could do some good things with Ron Rivera. At 17, and this almost seems like fate, Pittsburgh Steelers, cornerback, Joey Porter Jr. You just lose Cam Sutton. Hayden hasn't been there. Bring in Joey Porter Jr., someone who was raised in that organization with his dad, someone who knows the Steelers way. He's familiar with Mike Tomlin. It just feels right. It goes down the street. Joey Porter Jr. to Pittsburgh, 17. The Detroit Lions, with their second pick of the first round, tight end Michael Mayer, Notre Dame. And I was stuck right here because I didn't know if I wanted to go Mayer or Darnell Washington of Georgia, but I feel like Michael Mayer is the best pick right here. Somebody that Jared Goff can just get the ball to. Simple. Buccaneers, offensive tackle Broderick Jones. Donovan Smith he sucks. I'm sorry, he sucks. I think he leads the league in holdings since he entered the league. And I just feel like it's time to turn that page. You got Tristan Wirfs. If you want to move him to left, you can do that. Have Broderick at right. But I think it's time to turn the page on Donovan Smith. Seattle Seahawks, 20, offensive tackle Darnell Wright, Tennessee. Also their second first-round pick of the draft. I like what Seattle's doing. These are very high-value picks for them to get Myles Murphy from Clemson and then also turn around and get Darnell Washington, SEC. That's tough. Chargers got edge, Lucas Van Ness, Iowa. And this kid kind of could have went anywhere. He could have went top 10. He could have went 8 to the Falcons. He could have went anywhere. It just feels like the teams that are picking in those from that like 9 to 20 range aren't really, don't really necessarily need pass rush. So just based on team need, he might fall a little bit, but not too far. I got the Chargers taking him at 21. Put him with Bosa, put him with Khalil Mack, and hopefully in a year or two, he's ready to take over as far as the premier pass rusher on that team. 22, Baltimore Ravens, wide receiver Jordan Addison. Simple. You got to get Lamar Jackson all the help he can get. Period. You have to get Lamar Jackson everything he possibly needs in order to stay. You got Odell, you got Rashawn Bateman, you got Duvernay, you got Mark Andrews, you got a plethora of backs in the backfield. You gotta get him help. It just don't matter. You have to show Lamar Jackson, listen, we're building this team for you and around you, not to replace you. So Jordan Addison to me is a good pick. You put him with Odell, you put him with Rashad Bateman. I think he could do some good things. Give him the ball in space, let him go. We got the Minnesota Vikings at 23. I have wide receiver Quentin Johnson, TCU. Quentin Johnson was he seems to be limited, but when you have Justin Jefferson who can do everything, you don't need to do everything. You come in, do what you do best. This happened already. Minnesota Vikings let Stephon Diggs go. Immediately draft Justin Jefferson. Okay, they don't re-sign Adam Thielen. Immediately draft Quentin Johnson. It's a revolving door. You go from Diggs and Thielen to Jefferson and Johnson. You still have KJ Osborne just in case Johnson takes a little bit long to produce, but you hope that he's more like Drake London and I can't really think of another big receiver, and you really hope that he's not like Kelvin Benjamin or Hakeem Butler or N'Keal Harry. That's what you're hoping he's not. But I feel like if you put him with Justin Jefferson, every day just being around somebody of that caliber only is going to make him better. Moving on to 24, we got the Jaguars. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really know how to pronounce this guy's name. Defensive lineman from Pitt, Cansey. Heard nothing but good things about this dude. And even when I went back and watched film on him, he is a dog. I don't know what it is about Pitt and these interior defensive linemen, but this kid gets after it. And after looking at everything Jacksonville needed, they're good. I could have went O-line here. Maybe could have went linebacker, but you got Josh Allen. You got Trevon Walker. You got Luakon. You have the things that you need. That could I have won safety? Of course, but having this guy on that defensive line with, you got to go up against Derrick Henry. You got to go up against Jonathan Taylor. You got to go up against some workhorses in the backfield. Damian Pierce from the Texans is no slouch either. You need somebody who can get in there and stuff the run and stop the run. Um, I got the guy from Pitt going to Jaguars at 24. 25, this might be one of my favorite picks. The New York Giants, Jahmyr Gibbs, running back, Alabama. The reason I like this pick is because, okay, Saquon doesn't want to sign the franchise, cool. Saquon Barkley is playing football this year one way or another. I refuse to believe that we will have another Le'Veon Bell situation, especially after seeing how the Le'Veon Bell situation turned out. Just my opinion. But this kid in this offense would be dynamic. Having him in this offense with Brian Daboll, Daniel Jones, the things that they have at receiver, I really like this pick. This guy can do things. He can run the ball as a running back. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can line up in the slot. He can line up out wide if you need him to. This kid can do a lot of different things. If I'm Daboll and this was our pick in the first round, I'm going to look at so much Deebo Samuel film. That's what I see in his future. Cowboys, 26, tight end, Darnell Washington. This is perfect. This is perfect. Big, strong, fast. You get a pass catcher, but you also get like a sixth offensive lineman. Darnell Washington, I feel like in a couple of years could possibly be one of the best tight ends in football. The way he blocks, his frame, the way he attacks the ball in the air, he has superstar potential. I really think he has superstar potential. He's not gonna be asked to do too much. He's not gonna be asked to do a lot. He's only gonna ask to do what he needs to do. But if you need him to catch 20-15 yard seam rate, Darnell Washington, I feel like if you was to put him in another system other than Georgia, he possibly could have put up Brock Bowers type numbers. And that's what I'm saying. Georgia is ridiculous because this is your second tight end on the depth chart, and he's going 26th overall. That's insane. Got the Bills at 27. Linebacker Drew Sanders, Arkansas. I love this. They didn't re-sign Tremaine Edmonds. I feel like this is kind of plug and play. Drew Sanders is a baller. Top 5-star prospect coming out of high school, went to Alabama. Shined at Alabama, but for whatever reason, he said, you know what, I got to go somewhere else. Went to Arkansas. As a middle linebacker, inside linebacker, had 9 sacks. That tells me you're sideline to sideline. That tells me you're all over the field. And that tells me that you have the ability to make plays that not many people have. 9 sacks as an interior lineman on Arkansas, that isn't Alabama. If he would have stayed at Alabama and done that, it still would have been impressive, but it would have been understood. The supporting cast at Arkansas versus Alabama is completely different. By week 5, you're doubling this guy almost every play. And for him to still be as productive as he is, I want him on my team. 28, Bengals, safety, Brian Branch, Alabama. To me, this was a simple pick. This was an easy pick. Reason being, the Bengals lost both of their safeties. They lost Jesse Bates to the Falcons. They lost Von Bell to the Panthers. Somebody got to play back there. So I kind of feel like this was just the way to go. Saints at 29. We going edge rusher B.J. Ojulari. They get him right in their backyard at LSU. They need pass rush. You know, they got their quarterback. They still have a good core of receivers. You hoping that Alvin Kamara can regain that Alvin Kamara, thing. And on defense, I mean, Demario Davis is getting up there in age. You still got Marshawn Lattimore, you got Tyrann Mathieu, but the heart of that team is I feel like on the decline, and that's Cam Jordan. And I feel like you got to get somebody in there who could possibly relieve him of his duties while he's still there, so that he can absorb some of that. Got B.J. Ojulari going to the Saints. At 30, with their second first-round pick, the Eagles draft another Georgia Bulldog, cornerback Kelee Ringo, Why are they drafting a cornerback? Because they didn't want to bring Slay back. They didn't want to bring Bradbury back. And it's obvious that both of them are not going to be there soon. So you got to get somebody in there to not replace them, but kind of the same thing as the Ojulari with the Saints. Get a young guy in there, absorb some of that veteran experience, absorb some of that veteran mentorship, and then give him the keys. Don't just throw him out there in the fire. Now, don't get me wrong, Kelee Ringo is going to have to play because there's some dogs in the NFC East. Going up against the Cowboys is going to be no easy task, especially with them adding Brandon Cooks. So the Eagles kind of need as much help as they can get on that back end. Could have went defensive tackle. I really could have went defensive tackle. They lost a lot. Interior, they know Linval Joseph, Sue, Hargraves is gone. But I feel like with them picking 30, the reach for a defensive tackle would have been a little outrageous. So we're gonna go Kelee Ringo cornerback. And the last pick of the first round, the Kansas City Chiefs, number 31 overall, wide receiver Zay Flowers, Boston College. In my opinion, this kid is nothing but another Kadarius Toney. You put him with Toney, and then you still got Clark, who wasn't able to show everything he was able to show last year. No Hardman, no Juju Smith-Schuster. You still have Travis Kelce, but I think those three guys, if they were to get Zay Flowers, Toney, and Clark, I feel like they're going to put the league on notice this year. Why? Because of their quarterback. You put those three receivers with a lot of other quarterbacks, and you like, what the fuck is they doing? But you put those three receivers with their skill set and their ability, with Andy Reid's mind and play calling, and the person throwing them the ball, I feel like it can be dominant. I feel like it can be so dynamic. I appreciate y'all, man. We was able to get it up. We was able to get it out. Mock draft, the Z Sports and Entertainment mock draft. I love y'all, man. I'm just going to sit here for the next 30 minutes, hour and a half, whatever, until this thing pops off, and we going to get it going. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, share, all of it. Z.